Hey, welcome back to another episode of Cody Builds. And tonight is actually a really exciting night because we are unofficially kicking off the build of Jeff's charger. Now, you might look around the garage and you won't see a charger in here. And that's because we've got one very important step to do before we get the car in the garage. And that is that we need to build a chassis table. Now, why do we need a chassis table? Well, for those of you who remember way back, and I'm talking year one of when I started this channel, we went and looked at Jeff's charger. There's quite a bit of structural damage on that car, and it's a Dodge, it's a Mopar product, so it is a unibody car. Now, we need a flat, level surface so that when we're making those structural repairs, we can take them back as close to the factory specs as we can possibly get them. We can only do that if we're taking our measurements off of a flat and level surface. So you might think your concrete floor is a good flat level surface, but I want you to take a look and note the big gap between the piece of steel here and my concrete. So if you see this, I'll push this down. You can see there's probably a 1/2 to 3/4 inch gap there. There's a gap down at the other end. Now, how do we know that the steel is not bent and the floor is flat? I've got a straight edge here on top of my piece of steel, and you cannot see a gap anywhere underneath that straight edge. That tells us that the top edge of the steel is flat and the concrete is very much not so. So what we're gonna work on tonight is assembling this chassis table. So we've got some 2x3 steel here, 1/4 inch wall thickness. Those are gonna be our two main rails. They're 15 feet long. And then we've got some 2x2 steel here, same thickness, that we're gonna use as our cross members across this table. Jeff's already got started cutting up some legs for me here. We are going to put some legs on the table. This is upside down right now. We're gonna attach some casters onto the bottom of those legs. And then eventually we're gonna put these 1-inch pieces of all thread on each corner and 2 on each side as adjusters so that when we have this table all ready to go, we can screw down those pieces of all thread and adjust our table to get it level and flat from front to back and side to side. That'll give us a good solid platform to then mount the car to. So tonight we're gonna build the table, and then once this table's done, we'll bring the car in here, we'll get the car mounted on the table. Jeff's with us again tonight. Like I said, he's gonna be with us all winter long here while we're working on his car. So the next step here, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting these legs welded up. Jeff's gonna be working on cutting out the templates for the casters. So we're gonna cut these out of some 3/16 steel here. We're gonna cut 6 of these for the legs, and then eventually we'll drill the holes out for our casters to bolt to the bottom of these plates. These will then weld to the bottom of the legs, and we'll be able to then attach our cross members, get everything leveled up, and hopefully put this thing right side up and put it on all 6 wheels. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna go ahead and get to work. Before Jeff and I get to fabricating that chassis table, I want to interrupt this video very quickly to let you guys know that codybuilds.com is officially open. After you finish watching the video, head over to codybuilds.com, check out all the merchandise I have available right now. I've got a couple stickers, I've got can koozies, I've got a t-shirt featuring Ellsworth, my 1975 Ford F-150, the build that has dominated this channel from the start and has brought a lot of you here as subscribers. So if you're interested in supporting my channel outside of just subscribing and commenting, head over to codybuilds.com and pick up some merchandise. Now let's get back to the video. All right, so I've got all the legs welded onto our main beams here, and Jeff has been busy making up the brackets for the casters. So he's got half of those done. It's time to go ahead and get those attached. Now, we're gonna be putting this all thread adjuster and these two nuts on each corner of the chassis table here, but then we're gonna be putting them in the middle. So we'll have two intermediate ones. We're not gonna be putting them dead in the center. So there'll be 4 adjusters down the side, 2 that line up with the casters, and then 2 splitting the difference from the ends here. There'll be center casters here, so we'll have 6 casters and 4 adjusters. I just offset it that way because most of the time this thing is going to be planted on the ground on our all thread adjusters there. And having the extra 2 gives a little bit more support, and it allows us a little bit more adjustability. When this thing's on the ground and we're rolling it around, I don't care quite so much. Just all I really want is it to be able to roll and be supported. And the load rating for these casters is more than enough to cover the table and the car on it. So I didn't feel the need to have 8 casters on here. One thing we're gonna have to figure out here is on the side, if we center our plate for the caster up here, that's close to center, it's not quite centered. You can see for our adjuster, we're gonna have to be pretty far off the side of the table. So we're gonna have to make brackets that attach to the legs and the main rail here that we can weld these 2 nuts to. And then those will be permanent, and then we will weld a nut on the end of the all thread, and that's the one that'll be our adjuster up and down. So we'll have to do a little bit more work to get the adjusters figured out here, but I think for now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get these caster plates welded on, centered up and welded on. We're gonna do that on all 6 of the legs here. We're not yet gonna bolt the casters on. We're gonna take these off of the sawhorses here, and we're gonna set these on their feet. And then we're gonna be able to shim and adjust the main rails with some stability because they have these nice flat feet on them until we get them level front to back and side to side. And then we'll weld in our cross members all down through the table here. All right, so while it's not overly critical that these brackets be like perfectly square, perfectly centered on the legs, we do want them at least a little bit centered, just so it looks decent. And rather than take a bunch of measurements and try and get everything lined up, what you can do is you can actually use a piece of just flat stock as a reference guide, right? So these brackets are 4 inches wide, 4.5 inches long. The tube is 2 by 2, and my little piece of strap here is a 1-inch piece of strap. So what I can do actually is I can throw this up here, and I can use this piece of strap almost as a jig, right? And I can just hold that up. Now I know top to bottom, we're gonna be centered because 2 inches minus 1 leaves 1 on the bottom. I can slide my piece of strap in there and check, and it is perfectly centered. So that's just a quick, dirty way to get close to centered. Now on the sides, we know that this is not exactly 1 inch. So we know that there's gonna be about 1/4 inch gap between the edge of our bracket and our piece of flat strap. So we can kind of just eyeball that, check it on the other side, see that we're close, make an adjustment, check it again, and we're pretty darn close to centered front to back there. And then I can come back to my top one, and I can just hold that solid like that and tack it in on both sides. So this is a quick way to kind of center something up without a tape measure if you have something that you can use as a reference measurement. All right, it's Sunday morning. It is 1 degree outside, so the heater is going to be on all day today. We'll just have to kind of deal with the sound on that. But we are out here. We're about ready to install the cross members on our chassis jig. Right now, what I've got Jeff doing is measuring out where each of our cross members is going to fall. And the way we've referenced those cross members is we've got the original body service manual here. We've got all of the measurements that we need for a B-body Mopar from 1973. So as you can see down here, It delineates where the reference points on the chassis are and the distance between those reference points. So we're marking out each of those distances right now. And the next step, once we've done that, is we're going to level this chassis jig front to back, side to side, and start clamping in some of the cross members here. Then we're going to square everything up and start to actually weld in those cross members. When it comes time to squaring everything up, I'll walk you guys through that, but we're just going to use some really basic geometry using the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and some really simple math tricks on how to square things up. So we'll talk about that when the time comes. For now, we're going to lay these all out. We're going to get everything kind of mocked up, clamped together, and then we'll work on getting everything level and square. What we did here is we took a longer piece of our 2x2 to clamp to our cross member and then to our main beams. And what this is doing is it's going to keep that cross member flat across the top rails here. We'll see how bad. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so we're significantly higher on this side, so we're going to have to shim that side up, and it looks like it's got to go up quite a ways. Let me see here. Of course, as soon as I pick up on this side, or picking up on that side, it's got to go up a good ways. Yeah. See, the challenge is now we're off the ground here. So, okay. How much? Okay, it's not going to take.
Should we put weight on that?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
It's like, okay, how are we going to do this if both sides are moving?
I don't know if that'll be enough to. Not quite. Okay, how about now?
Okay. I like that.
Pretty good there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. This is higher than the back. I'm going to check that rail. Oh, wow. So maybe the back is a hair high on that one.
That side's a little higher.
Okay.
Just, I mean, a hair.
So that means we need to raise both of these sides
Right.
just a little bit.
But I thought you were...
The back is, the front's high.
Right.
So if we raise both of these to get it level, then we can raise the back up to get to level.
I'm with you.
Otherwise, we're going to be chasing it back and forth. Okay, then we should be out a little bit again. More.
Yes.
Good there?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to redo the side to side on this side.
Yep.
Oh, it looks pretty good, right?
You need...
Okay.
That makes more sense. Yeah, you need to go up a little.
Just a hair. Okay. A little more?
A little more. I like that.
Like that? Okay.
Okay. So
now we should be really high in the front here. Yep. Yeah.
So a little more. Here. Okay, good. Perfect.
Okay. Only thing I don't like
Yeah, saw that.
is that. So this side slopes up just a little bit and that's level. So we might need to put a little bit of weight down on this center. Because we're still, you see what I'm, because we're...
Oh, I do.
So it's just the steel that's a little
Right.
wonky. That definitely put some weight down on that.
That did a good job.
Still maybe just a hair of a hair.
That makes a difference. If we could just get that flat on the ground.
Get that flat on the ground? Okay. Now it's going to be a balancing act.
Yeah, I was going to say, this would be impressive. Well, you could go any further if you wanted to.
Right. That one's, I mean, that's down to the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless we raise, you know, we
Right.
raise the thing up. See, now we're just a little high still here.
Right.
So, but at this point we could actually add more shim to the back if we're a little high on the front. We're just getting these closer, these two ends closer together.
You're too high now. Just, I mean.
Well,
just
we're,
slightly too high. Right. Exactly.
What is that doing?
Now it sets you back the
Right.
other way. So.
That's what we're trying to do. So we're kind of humped in the center.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is bring this up.
We got to get that high enough so that we can push down in the center.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm just gonna throw a handful of shims in there.
Come on, baby.
Oh, sorry. That was
No,
good?
No, that's weird. Where it's at now is good, even though it's not flat on the ground.
Yeah, that's okay, because we may have overcompensated
That's right.
in the back, but then we just put shims up till it touches.
Right.
Let's check this one. We did overcompensate because we're high in the back, but that's okay, because that means we can make the difference up. This is good. Still too high. Way overcompensated.
Still too high.
If I lift this up, you want to knock that out with one of the shims?
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it. All right.
But let's double check the
Yeah.
front now. Because if it's high this way and high this way by a hair, then we can shim in the middle.
Okay, and it is.
That's perfect, because then we can shim a little bit in the middle up, just a little bit, and that'll make us flat all the way across. Should.
Well, wait, this. Yeah. This.
So we're basically high on the two ends, so we're just a hair low in the center now, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep going. Keep going. I like that.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Okay. So now we're good here and here. We just need to go across and down that side now.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And this is,
that.
that's on the ground.
Okay, that works. Aha.
Bring the back up,
Okay.
which would, because the concrete falls off so far, then hopefully, as long as that side is higher than this side, all we need to do is shim this back
Right.
corner. If that side's lower, then we're in trouble.
Okay.
Let's see. And it is higher, so that's good. We just shim this and we should be good. Which makes sense because the concrete falls off there. Almost perfect.
Oh wow, did we fix that?
It may be just a touch high on that side, but not by much. I would say that looks like the center's high here, doesn't it? Pretty close.
Yeah.
The bubble shifted to the right a little bit. And then if you come down here, the bubble shifted to the left just a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're a hair high in the center. If it's close in the center, then let's call it good. If we need to adjust, then we can adjust everything else up. It's telling us this is
Yeah.
high, right? Okay, so let's just maybe just adjust everything else up. All right, so a lot of monkeying and a lot of shimming. We have this table pretty darn near close to flat, as close as we can get it. You can see we've shimmed some areas. We've got some weights on a couple of areas because there's ever just the slightest arc in these main beams. we're able to take it out by weighting down the centers and shimming up the sides. So that's where we're at right now. We started on this side, worked our way all the way around, and then discovered that the far side is actually our high point, which meant that we had to come back and re-shim everything, but that's okay, because now we know, based on the floor, we've got the center there touching on the floor, we've got kind of a 0 point there, and everything else has been adjusted up to make this level and in both directions, essentially making this whole thing flat. The next step here is going to be squaring up the table. The easiest thing to remember when trying to square something up is you can use a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So fitting with our Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 3 squared is 9 plus 4 squared is 16, which equals 25. Square root of 25 is 5. So if you measure 3 feet in one direction, 4 feet in the other, the hypotenuse of your triangle where those measurements meet should be 5 feet. And that's how you get a 90-degree angle, square something up. So we're gonna measure 3 feet over, 4 feet down, 5 feet to the hypotenuse to get the front squared up. We'll do that on both ends of the table just to confirm. Then we'll weld in our first cross member here. We'll go back to the next one and we'll just double check our measurements as we go, making sure everything stays square and flat as we go. We'll work our way all the way to the back until we have the back welded in. Say, just let me know which side you're measuring off of, the outside.
Yeah.
I say we're pretty damn close.
Okay.
You wanna check?
Sure.
We'll double check our measurements here.
I like that idea. I don't think you can get any closer.
Right?
Yeah. We're spot on.
Okay. Just a confirmation. Holy moly.
Come on.
About this side.
They shoot, they score.
Yeah, we'll have to do some work there. This is good. I want to tack that in while we got it that good.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a tack in those corners. Basically, the skeleton of the table is done here. We've got all the cross members welded in. We're now going to start working on the adjuster feet for the table. So I've got Jeff cutting some legs because we're actually going to put adjusters underneath the cross members. The key reason for that is the front subframe basically ends at this cross member. The rear frame rails start here and go towards the back. That leaves this center portion essentially on the Mopar where the rocker panels are your structure for the car, and we need to replace one of those rocker panels. So we've got these two square sections. Essentially what we're going to be able to do is tie in the front frame rail to the back frame rail from the top side to keep everything stable and steady. And then we can cut out the rockers, replace them, get those welded in, get the structure back in the car, and then remove our braces from the inside. So we're going to cut some legs that go directly underneath these cross members and are going to have some adjusters using our all thread here and our nuts. Likewise, we need to space our adjusters off the leg here so that our all thread will clear. So Jeff's going to get all those pieces cut up. We're going to get those welded in, and that's going to finish off this chassis table. All right, all wrapped up for now, just about finished. Need to get a little bit more all thread for our center legs here for the adjusters, but it's going to look very similar to how we have these set up on the center legs there as well. So yeah, this is it. I mean, the next step here is getting the car in the garage and getting it mounted up to this table. A lot of help from Jeff here. This made this go so much faster.
My pleasure.
Are you excited about having your car
Stoked.
on there?
Absolutely stoked. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited to keep this project going and get the car in here and get it mounted up on the table. Very few issues the whole day. I mean, we got this thing flat and level, and now you can actually see the floor so out of level that the back legs aren't touching back there. That's a good sign. If all the legs had sagged once we got all the legs and stuff on there, the wheels, then we would have known we'd had a lot of sag in the table. Now, with the square tubing, we are going to get some flex in this chassis a little bit. If we really didn't want any flex at all, we'd come in with big I-beams, but that's just not practical for the garage. So that's why we are adding the extra supports in the center. That'll help bridge some of the load, and we can level this thing out all the way down the sides and across side to side once we've got the car on the chassis as well. So the next step will be getting the car in here, making some uprights to our location points on the chassis itself, and then setting the car down on top of those uprights and mounting everything solid so that we can then start to cut some things apart. So that'll be up. That'll be what's coming up next for the Charger build. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, subscribing. If you're not subscribed, please consider it. It's free, doesn't cost anything. Just click the little subscribe button down below. It really does help out the channel, especially if you guys like and comment and all that stuff. So all that said, guys, if you don't work on your projects, they will not work on themselves. Get out in the garage, get building, and I'll see you on the next episode of Cody Builds.